your life that lasted for what seems like forever? A moment where time stops and you feel like it would never begin again? That's how I felt as I stepped off the boat onto this foreign land that I had never seen before. I had just gotten off the boat with hundreds of sick, filthy people crammed on board. My family was one of the few lucky ones who hadn't gotten ill while on the boat. You would think that we would have gotten sick just from sitting in steerage for a few minutes. Let me tell you that stepping off that boat was the best part of everyone's journey to America. Once I took a few breaths of fresh air, I finally thought about where I was. The more I thought about it, the more my heart began to skip beats. It seems like thousands of people were passing by me every second. I was anxious, yet excited about being there. We waited in line for several hours, and still it seems like we would be waiting forever. I began to speak to a girl whose family was waiting in line before us. Hello, I'm Elizabeth. I'm Annabelle. I thought getting off the boat would be the end of waiting forever. I guess I was wrong. I said as she nodded her head in agreement. I heard that a little boy got really sick and he had to go to the hospital. He might have to go home. This came as a shock to me, considering my parents hadn't really told me about what we would have to do once we actually got here. I thought about me being sent home to Italy without my family. Would they come home with me? I didn't know. Elizabeth? Annabelle waved her hand in front of my face as I stared at the plant. Are you okay? She asked with a worried expression on her face. I didn't mean to scare you. It's fine. I'm just nervous about everything. You're going to be okay. Before you know it, you're going to be taking your first steps into your new life in America. Now, for most people, taking your first steps in America was a wish granted. For me, not so much. I was forced to leave my aunts, uncles, grandparents, and friends back in Italy. Despite the fact that I had no friends, I was trying to put the best fake smile on my face to let my mom know I wasn't nervous. But I knew that she was just as scared as I was. I knew deep inside that there was nothing to worry about. Our Uncle George had come several months earlier to start promising life for us. Out of nowhere, a tall man came and stood in front of us and a few families that were surrounding us. You can come with me to start your inspection, he said as he led us through two huge wooden doors. Where are we going? I asked my father. Nothing to worry about, dear, he said with a hint of uncertainty. My family was the first one to be inspected out of the group of people he took with him. He motioned for us to stand in front of a short, bald man, who we were told would be giving us the health inspection. Good afternoon, he said with an unfamiliar accent. My brother and I stood behind my parents as we didn't know what was to come. He waved to me to come closer and stand in front of him. I hesitated and peered at my mother with a solid fear in my eye. She rested her gentle hand and gave me a light push towards the man. I gazed back at him and took a few steps forward. Nothing to worry about, just a quick inspection. He was right. It took only a few minutes and wasn't that bad. I thought it was over and took a step to the side. Just one more thing. He pulled out a short metal stick. I backed away towards my mother, who then pushed me back towards him. I clenched my teeth and he grabbed the bottom of my eyelashes and tugged on them. He stuck the metal stick in my eye to pull my bottom lid down. He did the same to the other eye and gently pushed me aside. Soon after everyone in my family went through the inspection, we were led to another room. My brother and I were asked a few questions. My parents, on the other hand, were endlessly interrogated. They were glad when the questioning was finally over. He walked to a few more people and signed several papers until a short, plump woman led us to two massive wooden doors. The woman opened the doors and led us outside. This is it, I spoke out loud so my family could hear me. I hesitated for a moment. I was deciding in my head whether or not I wanted this moment to last forever. These would be my first steps into the real world in America. Should I have been nervous that it would lead to a miserable life? Or should I have been excited for the life that my parents had always desired us to have? Because this was America. This was the place where we could leave everything behind and start a new life with opportunities as infinite as the stars. Sincerely, Elizabeth Reed.